Today on the show, we're talking a little bit. This is this episode, ladies. It is the Whitman's sampler of money podcasting. It's the end of the year. This episode's going up on the 4th of December. We've had a big year, a big life. We are recording this Perth at the FAAA conference, and you've heard us do a couple of episodes before at this conference. So we're in Perth. What else do I need to say before I introduce the guests? We're going to probably talk about investment philosophies. We're going to talk about maybe the best money tips that you both have and what you've implemented in your own life that has or hasn't worked, what you've seen in clients' lives that have or hasn't worked. Then we might talk about women in leadership. You're both in various leadership positions in this traditional man's world of advice. And here we are. But before we get into that, or this episode, ladies, I got to pay the bills. This episode is brought to you by Sphere Home Loans. Hey, we are pro mortgage broker here on this podcast. Why take your precious time and just like a shotgun shot and go to a random bank and apply for a loan when you can go to a mortgage broker? They'll sit down with you. They'll ask your personal situation. They'll find out what your property goals are, and they will work with you to put a scenario and a strategy together and then present options that could suit you. And there's generally no cost at Sphere Home Loans, or there isn't. They're remunerated by the banks. But yeah, Sphere Home Loans, they're a big supporter of what we do on the podcast. And spherehomeloans.com.au. Use a mortgage broker. If you're buying your first property, if you're upgrading, side grading, downgrading, all that. If you've already got a broker and you haven't looked at your loan, go back to your original broker. If you don't have a broker and you've got a home loan or an investment loan and you haven't had someone run their eyes over it, check out Sphere Home Loans. Okay, my name is Glen James. I'm joined by
Don Thomas from The Wealth Designers.
And
Michelle Flanagan from The Wealth Designers.
And what podcast is this?
Money.
That will do. Let's go right now. Before we get into it, this show is general advice only, and I've got a license to provide that advice. Full details can be found in the show notes. I'm a former financial advisor. Now I do the Money podcast. If you're a regular here, we call it M3, and we do a podcast called Retire Right. I've got a book, The Quick Start Guide to Investing, is available wherever good books are sold. There's a link in the show notes if you want to turn up your investing to 11, or if you're just getting started. Let's get into it. Thank you so much for being here today. Dawn has been on the show, I think last year or the year before you came on. Yes. Money.
That's right.
I'll get you to get that mic nice and high.
That's
Thank you. We're in a live environment, Dawn. That mic matches your hair. If you're watching on YouTube,
I know, that's what I said.
You will see. Dawn, he's got, to the hair, do you go through phases? I'm feeling blue this quarter or I'm feeling X this quarter.
No, not really. Like I have grey hair, if anyone needs to know. So this is all done myself.
Yeah, wow.
And so I don't have to bleach the hair or anything. It's like the easiest way to just
so it just grows blue?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I thought so.
Remember, it's mind over, what is it? If you put your mind to it, anything's possible.
That's right, yeah. So Dawn, you've been on the show before, as you said at the top, financial advisor at The Wealth Designers.
That's right.
Michelle, this is your first time on the podcast.
It is.
And this will blow so many people's minds on the podcast. This is, if you've been a listener of my show for many years, who Michelle is very, very, very instrumental in my career. Who are you, Michelle?
I am the person who gave Glen James his first job into our industry. And what a great choice it was, Glen.
For who? So when I first joined financial services, it was 2005.
Wow.
I was 21.
Okay.
I was about to go back to telecommunications because I'd finished my apprenticeship, could not get a job. And I went, irrelevant. You probably don't know this or care. I went to the recruiter from the Central Coast, drove down, and they said, Glenn, the job you've come for it's been filled or they've withdrawn it. We're so sorry. But another company, they took someone and they pulled out or something, or another company's come through. We want to introduce you. We think you'd be a good fit.
Really?
And that was you.
I do remember you being on reception. Absolutely. And because you could fix the phones.
Yes, that's right. And like when I started in this industry, I'm just like, I just need to get in and start at reception, getting the mail, getting the milk.
So amazing in our business. Like you did all the stepping stones that young people in our day would have done. Like young graduates don't do that anymore.
No, and it makes you a better advisor.
We've all done I started here, and young people go, how do you know that? And it's because I started in the back office before rap accounts existed, and we were the mailing house, and we opened envelopes and we filled out applications with pen and paper and faxed.
And, I'd gone for jobs at Macquarie. I did 3 interviews at Macquarie Bank.
Did you?
For a mailroom crappest job. And after the 3rd interview, they said, nah. I'm like, what? 3 interviews for a 21-year-old? Like, what are we doing here? And I was so deflated. And you probably don't remember this. I was actually late to your interview.
You must have apologized.
I did. I'm really, and you won't remember this, but I think you commented like, oh, you seem really relaxed or something. Do you know why? Because I didn't care. I was done because it was just going to be another rejection.
He thought, this financial services business is not for me.
I'm going back to telecommunications. But without Michelle, it was one of those sliding door moments. I may not have ended up in advice, may not have had my own business, may not have been doing this podcast. So
I think that's the wonderful thing, though, about our industry is there are so many stories like that of how people have come to be in our industry.
Yeah.
And I think that will be the change that we'll see is that lots of now graduates just come through a very traditional financial planning degree versus in, whatever door, whatever sliding door presented itself.
So actually on that, I was going to do it at the end of the episode, but I think we'll just see where this chat takes us, everyone. It's the end of the year. Let's not get too serious about investing.
It's December, it's summer.
I want to do an infotainment podcast. We're creating information and entertainment, baby. And so you were the practice manager at the firm.
That's right.
So you were responsible for hiring and firing. Thankfully, I didn't get a firing.
Thankfully, I didn't fire too many people, Glenn.
So what? And now you're advising. You have been for many years.
Yeah, that's right.
And you can chime in any ways, any place as well, Dawn. Traditionally known as a male-dominated industry. And you probably got some stories. How was it, being in management in this industry? And because realistically, I think what you were saying before, I reckon 10 years ago, when I first started coming to the AFA conferences back then, you did not see, like I was having lunch before, there was people sitting next to me, 21-year-old student, and she's switched on from the Gold Coast. You just did not see 21-year-old females 10 years ago at a conference like this. Like it was just no students. And now it's so different. So I've thrown a heap of stuff out there. How's life?
I think for me...
and how do I be rich?
Yeah. I think for me it was, you talk about sliding doors. My sliding door was my aunt and uncle, who unfortunately now have passed away, but were talking to their financial planner via their telephone fax machine. So we're talking years ago. And they said to him, do you have a job? And it was all about then your network. And it became really, it showed me very quickly how your network is what gets you a job. And so I rocked up to my very first job and then there were about 3 or 4 people from the uni course I'd done. And then from that job, that led to my next job. And I was very fortunate that I actually had someone who just recognized my talent. like in my skill set. And I don't think that's any different to what we recognised in you, Glenn, that we could see. And you came along and you applied yourself and you did your job and you showed that you wanted to put forward solutions and think and be part of a team, right? And so anybody who generally does that, like businesses love that.
Yeah. Okay. I was still a young idiot in my career book. And again, you probably don't remember one of the staff meetings. I was late. I walked in with a bowl of popcorn.
Oh gosh.
And they're like, what do you come for? I'm like, this is entertaining. Like, and I wrote, don't be a 25-year-old Glen or whatever. Hey,
I don't remember that at all. Yeah. So I think for me, I never saw that whole female aspect in our industry. I think and it maybe is part of my upbringing. We're just always taught you do a good job, you do the right job. Country girl, but do the right job and do your best. And, obviously there's a skill set and there's a smartness about it, but do all of those things and then people will recognize that. And I think I've just been fortunate that has been recognized, but I've been fortunate to do something I love.
Yes.
So that's really key, I think. And the whole three of us would absolutely agree to do something that you love.
Well, and what's it, Dawn, for you breaking in? Like, what was your path into financial services? And has it been difficult with blue hair?
Funnily enough, not difficult with blue hair. Probably earlier on, similar sliding door moment, because I did journalism and media studies as my bachelor degree, right? And I thought I had the dream when I came from Singapore over here that's what I really wanted to do. My dad was a broadcaster, and it just didn't turn out that way, being someone who was going from a student visa to a permanent residency visa. So very similar to what Michelle was saying, was that I believe that with hard work, if I entered a large company, I should be able to find where I'm going to be or should be. So it was that moment of, it was difficult to get graduate programs in WA. As you know, not a lot of things are based in WA.
Yeah.
And being on that in-between step to permanent residency was also difficult. So going to a bank gave me the opportunity to become a financial advisor. I got on their graduate program 6 months after being in the bank.
Yeah.
And I think those are a lot of the stories we used to hear with financial advisors, that people came from very diverse skill sets. So it was almost that we've had experience in sort of one thing or learnings in one thing, and then we're bringing it to our experience in financial planning.
But it's great, because when you said you did journalism, it's a lot of correlation there with advice, because you're collecting a whole heap of different data, and how do you put it together to tell a story in the right order? Because if you're reporting on something, you can't be like, and then the house burned down. It might be house burns, but how did it get to that point?
Yes.
I think that is there are lots of people who've had a prior life almost to financial planning. And I think it'll be interesting to see with a cohort of people coming through that without that prior life, what does that bring to the industry? Like, I've always been in the industry, but I've not always been a planner.
Yeah.
So that's the other side of it. So you bring a different dimension when you just haven't always been a planner or always been on the advice side. I've been on the business side of things as well.
And would you say you're more of a business leader who's doing advice, or an advisor who was doing business leadership earlier in the career? Like, what do you think your natural tilt is?
I think I'm probably a business leader who gives advice.
Yeah.
And people have asked me, like, when I was, practice manager, then I became general manager. And at that time, people were like, Michelle, you need to come and do advising. You're wasted on this side of the fence kind of thing. And then when I've come to advising and I've loved it, and then what I've realized is I'm just good at relationships.
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about. And this whole industry is built on relationships. So it's not, I think I'm a business leader because I've got pulled back into leadership, like just naturally. I have not tried to, it's just happened.
And that's a very interesting point for those listening. And I don't know where this episode fits in the spreadsheet. I just wrote episode X, Dawn and Michelle don't know the title or topic yet. So it might even be a bit of a career-y thing. But if you're even mid-flight, so maybe in your 30s, right?
Yeah.
Because I think in our 20s, we are still kind of navigating what the hell's going on. But if you're mid-flight and something keeps finding you,
Yes.
maybe there's either you hate it or you love it. There's probably a higher chance you enjoy that if it finds you.
You could have asked any of my friends back in my mid-flight years, like in my 30s, in my early 30s, and my like friends who were down at the pub, I can say that on podcast, you know, drinking on a Thursday night, Friday night, and the boys would be like, does Michelle really like what she does? And my friends would all tell you Michelle absolutely loves what she does.
Yeah.
And I think it just kept finding me. The right role kept finding me.
Did advice, like, because you went into the bank and you can go many directions in the bank, right? Was advice and always wanting to, or did it find you, or did you trip over it?
Well, I felt like I tripped over it.
Yeah.
But then once I got into it, I was addicted to it because I
Yeah.
realized I was really good at communicating.
Yes.
And seeing light bulb movements for people really was quite addictive for me because I was just like, oh, I just don't want anyone to feel like they're counted out in the conversation. I think I'm very much an underdog story kind of person, and I'm cheering for the people that maybe feel like they can't do it because I believe everyone can. You just need the right approach. And leadership, when I saw that at the bank, it was very hierarchical, linear, because you go from advisor to senior advisor, and then you might become a regional manager, executive manager. So for me, that's what I thought leadership was. And when you're plotting out your professional development plan, you think that the next step after being an advisor is actually going into the managerial positions. And I actually associated that with influence. I guess my goal was always to influence more people in the space of finance. And being in the bank, I thought it only worked in the way of being in those roles. And I was a regional manager managing a group of advisors. So when the bank started exiting advice, and that's when my role was made redundant, I had to actually kind of really think about what I wanted in life because it was hard. I didn't know how leadership looked outside of the banking world. And now that I'm outside, I feel it's like freestyle leadership. And I don't think I could ever go back into that hierarchical kind of system.
So I believe most of us are leaders, whether you, I'll give an example. If I go to the gym, right, join group fitness, and it's my first week there, someone who's only been there for 3 weeks can actually lead me because they're a little bit further ahead of the journey. So we're all leaders. On the leadership thing, I'll ask both of you if you could refine what your leadership style would be. What would that be? Either leading clients, and this is the thing, leading some clients, I used to kind of work out when I would sit down with the client, try and work out if they're a thinker, feeler, or doer broadly. So the thinkers, your accountants, teachers, engineers, just think analytical. The doers, yep, whatever, just tell me where to sign. Or the feelers, we're going to support you through this, give them a hug. So I try to work out whether they're a thinker, feeler, doer, and try and empathize on that level to communicate.
Yeah, look at it with, I've always called my advice style as advice with heart. And basically my leadership style, I call it leadership with heart.
Yes.
And really it's that feeling connectedness.
Yeah.
I know enough as an advisor that I want my clients to be connected enough with me where we're actually kind of feeling what's going on and we can actually do it together. And I find it very difficult as an advisor or a leader not being able to, if someone's kind of have a wall in there and they're not willing to collaborate, I find that difficult. So maybe that's why more traditional sense of leadership roles may not be suited for me, but where I'm suited for are the people that actually want to go on the journey.
Yeah.
And if they're open to that, we're in alignment of how we can actually help each other out.
And I think, like does attract like. And, there could be, because advice is such a personal thing, someone might be listening to Dawn and Michelle now and like, we need an advisor. I like either of their vibe.
Yeah.
I'm going to reach out to them because I connect.
You have clients ask you, why should I choose you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have to want to tell like me. And
Yeah.
I'm, the advice process is what makes you different from anybody else. And, in our day and age, we've all done the same study. We've all got the same amount of experience. So to me, it's about the relationship you want to have with people. Do you enjoy sitting down with me? Because I'm going to ask you a lot of questions and I'm going to push some buttons that you might not be comfortable, or are you comfortable in me pushing them? Do I respect you? Do you respect me? And is this going to be a mutual relationship that we both enjoy?
Yeah.
Because you're going to come back year after year. So why, if you can't have that, then I'm not your right person. And there's plenty of...
this is like, I love this, right? I love it. So Dawn is advice with heart. It's a journey. It's a connected. You're like, hey, this is how I do it. There's going to be expectations on you from me.
Yeah.
I'm going to set. So a little bit, I don't want to say militant, but I can even
actually
see.
Similar. We would say we would set standards the same way we're setting
Yeah.
expectations. I think we're saying, what Michelle is saying is that we are asking for that mutual respect and we're going, this is how the advice journey is going to look like.
Yeah.
But if it's not right for you, we're not going to work together. I think that's where we are quite firm with what the expectations
But
are.
I mean, but the back end is the same, but the personality vibe
is
different.
And I always, not in my very first meeting, but I'll always ask clients, you had yours, I ask, are you a spender or a saver?
Yeah.
Really quickly.
Yeah.
And because and I want to see your face when I say it.
Yeah, that's right.
Because
And
it's
if
going
there's
to
a
be all over
couple
your
and one
face.
doesn't know, you just ask the other person.
That's right. Because it really then determines how you're approaching that as well. Like, because if you've got savers, then they're quite methodical and they're going to be good at adhering to what you're recommending and everything. If you've got spenders, then we're going to have a little bit more.
Do you know what I
are we on track?
used to do in my initial online form, like a get to know you thing? I asked 2 questions. One was random question: what's your phone plan? Okay, some people were like, don't know, question mark. Others were like, I'm on a $75 a month, 10 gig of data. And he's like, yes, you're a details
They're
person.
an engineer.
Yeah. And then I would ask, if you had to fly from Melbourne to Sydney, what airline are you choosing? Or do you just find the cheapest one on Webjet? And then if they go, oh, we just go the cheapest one. All right, you're that bent. Or someone's like, always Qantas. You get the beer of the afternoon. So you can actually see a bit of value.
I like that, yeah.
But I think, you talk about the value prop at the Wealth Designers, I think, is exactly what attracted both of us to the Wealth Designers.
Did Troy put you up to advertise TWD?
No, you can cut that out. You can absolutely cut that out.
No, Michelle, honestly,
no.
I would, if I didn't respect the business and you as individuals, you would not be sitting here.
No, it's about the approach. And we did it in our old business, Glen, and that business doesn't exist anymore. But we started that approach, and it's that approach that I loved because it was about whilst we've got a sponsor that's a product, it's about giving people the right advice.
Yeah.
And if that means staying in your existing super fund, that's the right advice. If that means retaining your existing insurance, or if that means going and seeing a mortgage broker, then let's get that sorted. Let's help you project manage that. But it's also about wanting to understand what you truly want to achieve in your life. Do you want to go left on the plane or right on the plane? No different to do you fly, what airline do you fly, and that kind of thing. Because when we can create that life for you, then you're going to love how we help you.
Do you know, and I did the episode on Challenge the Standard podcast. It's the advisor podcast, Nathan Fradley and Jordan Vaca, or whatever, I never say his last name. I was on their podcast and
but I was
going to say something, but
why
whatever.
this? But I also think what we've met a few young ladies across the course of the last couple of days, and they've also been they've been surprised how many ladies we have at the Wealth Designers.
Yeah.
So we have 4 female advisors out of a group of 10. So that's 40%. That'd be pretty high.
Start calling you the Labor Party soon, Michelle.
And and we've got a young PY coming through who's and she's female. We are quite a dominant female cohort of
women
team. And
make really good advisors.
And And that's the thing is like the approach and the way that we ask our questions are much more comfortable for women to ask
And the
those
guys
questions.
are good at it as well. I must say that I was saying this as a compliment to my colleagues, my male colleagues. I just said, you got feminine energy, because I mean that in a way of you're able to connect to someone at the way that they're at, right? Because someone could come in more emotionally and someone can not, right? Depends on the person that you're seeing. But for them to be able to shift in that as well, I think as women, we do it quite naturally. But for the guys to actually step in, I mean, I don't know if they took it as a compliment, but I meant it as a compliment. Yeah.
I remember my train of thought now, and you'll have to forgive me, everyone. This is, I think, the 4th podcast I've done today, and it's 5 p.m. and I'm absolutely rooted. That's the professional word of cooked. We're talking about conferences and why you attend conferences, and I love conferences. You get to connect and catch up with people and grow. And I was actually really impacted. I was sharing on the podcast why I go to conferences. And then, as I mentioned before, the student, or no, she's not a student anymore. She's just graduated. She said, I'm 21 years old, done my business degree, majored in financial advice. I still don't really want to know what to do. I'm like, oh, yeah. And she asked me a question that, honestly, and I'll ask you both this question, I didn't know how to answer it, and I loved it. She said, so, Glenn, what do you do with all your money?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. How do I answer that? And it's just that open question.
Well, it's about planning, isn't it? I mean, if you're going to be...
Yeah, I'm like, I spend a lot of it. But I don't know,
I'm sure you're methodical in the background as well.
It's just I love the boldness of the question.
Yeah, it is very bold, isn't it?
I really respect that, such a personal question. She felt comfortable enough to...
Well, respects you enough, I think.
Yeah.
To ask you
so,
that.
Glenn, what do you do with all your money?
Yeah.
And I'm like, far out. I'm like, well, got a broken boat at the moment.
A money pit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so...
I can tell you exactly where that goes. It just goes into the children's sport at the moment. And that's what I've been telling some people, that it's so hard to budget for something like sport because you don't know how accomplished they're going to be or whether they're just going to do nothing. And I'm finding it now. I said, no one's had this conversation with me, but also I thought I was smart having them in one sport. I thought they can pass down items and they don't actually keep the items well enough for them to be passed down. They break them, the shoes
Dawn's
go.
big on the hockey scene.
Hockey, very much. And it's and if they do well enough to go into states, for example, that's all self-funded. And I was talking to another advisor and I said, I see other parents and they're doing fundraising, right? But I said, as a financial advisor, am I allowed to fundraise? Because am I supposed to have planned for all of this? Does that make me a bad financial advisor if I'm going to someone else and asking for money? Because you're seeing how other people do it. And I don't know if it applies to a financial advisor to do that because we're supposed to just use our cash flow and what we've planned for our situation, you know? So that's something that I couldn't have foreseen happen. And when you have a third child who wants to be a goalkeeper, that's a whole other ballgame of equipment.
The big pads and...
The big pads. Yeah. And I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? Because are you going to change your mind?
You're going to grow out of those pads?
Yeah, in the time where there are things like braces, sports.
Oh, so you're in like mid-flight, kids, money, wild.
Like we think about that time when you're starting the career and you talked about that early 20s to 30s. I had all my 3 kids by 30 while building a career as a financial advisor.
Wow.
And studying and doing my master's. And it feels that
makes you feel lazy.
No, but I felt like the pain should be over. And I'm like, life is giving you more curveballs of how else. Every time you think you're managing your cash flow well, and then it's just, there's more and more that you're trying to, keep up with, I feel.
I think you can spend as much or a little as you kind of like. And it's just about what you do get caught up in.
Yeah.
But I think we're all different, right? So how you want to spend your money, how Dawn spends hers, how I spend mine to get the life we want or that the life we have is all different. It's a really interesting question. How do you spend your money?
I know. It's like, so what do you do with your money? How do you spend?
Right now, I feel like all I'm doing is like I'm doing my kitchen reno.
Yeah.
So that's like,
that's a nice one.
I'm just giving money out. It is a nice one because it's, for those who know me, cooking is my passion and it's my real thing. And I'm very excited that I've finally pulled the real trigger on that happening in my life. But it's not come easily and it's taken a while, but I'm going to have the kitchen that I absolutely love and enjoy in the process of that. And that's what I think money should bring you. It should bring you joy.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're not getting joy from whatever you're spending, if you're just spending and that's not giving you joy, then maybe try something else.
Absolutely. We'll take a break. When we get back, can you give me 10 more minutes, ladies? Then we've got to dress up for the prom tonight.
Yes, we do.
We'll be back right after this.
If you're after personal financial advice, don't get it from a podcast. But if you want guidance tailored to your situation, head to moneypodcast.com.au and click Get Help. We'll connect you with one of our trusted professionals, financial advisors and mortgage brokers, who work with people right across Australia. No matter where you are, they can help. Now, before we get back to the show, a quick reminder to protect your financial life. That means having income protection sorted. It means having death cover if there's any debt or dependents relying on you. It means getting your personal insurance in order. Most people insure their car, they insure their house, but what about themselves? Sky Wealth, who support this podcast, are specialist financial advisors who can help you get the right cover in place. Their advice is often more comprehensive and better value than going direct through your super. Book a complimentary 15-minute chat at sky.com.au. That's skye.com.au. And they'll point you in the right direction.
Okay, we're back. Now, we're going to wrap up with we've gone everywhere and hopefully someone's
Someone can pull
been
this together.
entertained or learned something or maybe found their future financial advisor. So I do a rapid fire episodes with different people and I call it the 10 questions. And so we're going to do a bit of rapid fire. I'm going to try and remember some of the questions. And there's no right or wrong answer. It is...
We say.
Sorry?
That's what we say to our clients.
Yeah. On this, I say there's no right or wrong answer, but I'll tell you if it's wrong. So the first one is like really easy. I'll go to Dawn first, and then we might just oscillate because I've got to try it. Oh, I've got my laptop here. I'll get it out. Talk amongst yourselves while we get this out.
Actually, what we're talking about before, about where we're spending, I feel that the phase of life, if I can call it, is the very practical stage of life. Like home improvements is all functionality as opposed to aesthetics. And
mine's going to be aesthetics.
yeah,
absolutely.
No, but it's also, in theory, like if you're doing it to your house, you're kind of ticking a few boxes. You're getting the vibe.
Yeah, home is where the heart is, right?
You're getting an investment out of it because it's actually going to add value to the house.
Yes, that's right.
I mean, I don't know if you've got 8-inch marble from Italy.
No,
and so you're not over-capitalising.
No, but there's a bit of,
razzle-dazzle.
Razzle-dazzle.
I think the point is that you've
There's
kind of waited.
polyurethane, not Laminex.
That's right.
You waited
There are
to get,
so many things that I've learned.
I think it's the waiting that is, people are in my stage of life, you're going to covet what someone else has at that point. That's not healthy because it's going to come. Maybe understanding the stage you're in, maybe this particular stage is a very functional stage of getting through the day.
Yeah, because when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was all about, I lunched, I travelled, I did just things that really brought me instantaneous joy.
Yeah.
But now it's more a considered approach to what is going to bring me a bit more joy. And I'm too old to keep doing all of that now.
Yeah. So my first question, Dawn, what makes a successful investor in your mind?
I think understanding that it's about a long-term decision and sticking to it. I think that this forgetting makes them actually... The initial action and then subsequently leaving it alone makes them successful.
Michelle?
Compounding. Yeah, it's just, and start as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Because the long-term impact of that pays off big time for everybody who does that.
Super or non-super investing and why? So I'm talking about someone might have money left over above their SG contribution. Do we salary sacrifice to super or not, and why?
Depends what we're saving for and what our goal is. So if we can afford and we've still got money left over, I would say super, because compounding and the long-term impact of that is just so powerful over time.
And I guess like the tax saving is effectively being invested.
Your overall wealth accumulation will, amplify from that. So, but if the goals are not associated to long term, then we have to think about other vehicles.
Yeah.
It's such a financial plan answer.
All right, here's one for Dawn then. you've got your minimum mortgage payment humming along. You got an extra amount a week or a month left over. Are we investing or paying down the mortgage?
I believe in doing a bit of both.
Yep.
Yeah, because I feel again that everyone is actually balancing off short-term goals, medium goals, and long-term goals. But I would say that if you're investing, I would ask why. What's the purpose of it? If that time frame is more than 10 years, and let's say you're 50, then you could be doing that in superannuation. So the age time frame does matter because people forget that superannuation is a platform that is invested in mainly shares, but depends on your age and goals.
It's a tax structure.
Yeah.
And that's what we love about it.
But we love going to mortgage as well. It's just that you probably can do both.
And, if I was taking my own philosophy, I just paid a mortgage.
Yeah.
But I also, over time, have done the whole super thing. So, but I've spent lots of money along the way in the fun bucket as well.
All right. What is your definitions of success, and have you achieved that yet? It does not need to be financial. Could be a lush kitchen. Might not be.
This is a hard one, Glen.
That's a really hard one.
It is.
I think personally success for me is just being happy in what I do and with the people who I want around me and sharing that with those people that I want around me. I think as I get older, it's not defined by money. It's really defined by the time spent with the people that I care about the most. And
now, you mentioned time spent with people. A lot of us spend a lot of time at work.
yeah.
Are you carving off? So in that, it's like if you didn't like where you were working, you just feel, I'm just done. Like, I'm just not doing it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Work is you should love what you do and love where you work because it's going to impact the rest of your life. You come home either a happy person or you don't come home a happy person.
Dawn?
Success, it might sound boring, but again, probably the phase of my life is that if my kids can be really well adjusted when they leave, just knowing how to be happy. And that's having a happy relationship in life with their partners, with money. For me, honestly, that's the first thing that came to mind because I think that's where I actually pour a lot of my time into. And even though I pour a lot of my time into work, it's actually a means of me being able to do something for them. So that's what I really wish if we can achieve that. I think nothing really matters than what I do anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a new addition to the question lineup, everyone. You may have heard it the other day on another 10 questions episode. This is awesome. What is one line that should be on your tombstone about you?
All these curly questions.
Oh, goodness.
She lived, she loved, she spent. Thank
Some
you,
people would
KitchenAid.
some people would think that I did spend a lot of money.
I'm searching for this.
This is just like you don't put too much thought, just whatever comes out.
Right.
F this, I'm glad I'm done.
Yeah. I don't know if people would say I've lived or whatever, but I would think that people would think that I've been a great friend, a wonderful friend. Yeah.
I thought it'd be over and out.
Over and out.
I think basically.
Peace, bitches. I'm done.
Right. I'm very at ease. Is that the moment I go, I just tell my husband, you've got the life insurance policy. You'll be fine. Just make sure that if you're going to repartner, there's a financial agreement, but you deserve to be repartnered. I told the kids, just remind your dad. And you know what? I'm peace out. If I'm gone, I'm gone.
A life well lived.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're going to incinerate me, make sure the heater's on good.
Yeah.
Don't want to be half cooked.
Yeah. No, I'm not going in the worms.
No. What has been your best investment to date? Again, doesn't have to be financial.
I guess the investment, maybe if I can say education-wise, I remember coming into financial advice early on, and that was the time in the bank where you had a diploma to get a financial plan. You could do it in 6 months or 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Depending when you do it. And I remember talking to some financial advisors, and I asked them, it seems to be that we should be getting a degree. There seemed to be talk about education standards maybe coming in. And they said, no, don't be silly. It's a waste of time. You don't need a degree to do this job, because the emphasis was around people. And I made a decision at that time to actually do my qualifications. And I feel that because it was my choice to do it as opposed to something being forced upon me, I feel really like that hasn't been investment in my career over and over again because what everyone was trying to fulfill standards, that was done. And so I've actually been able now to choose study that I'm actually passionate in.
Yeah, great. Love it. Michelle?
It's easy to say education, but I think self-belief. And I'm not always the biggest self-believer, but I think when you do have self-belief, I think when you figure out that you're good at what you do and people respect you for what you do.
I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
Like just last night when we were in the main auditorium, I got a couple of texts that our book, The Quick Start Guide to
Yes, you
Investing,
said that.
won Personal Finance Book of the Year at the Australian Business Book Awards, and then overall category Book of the Year.
You know, you
And I'm like, I didn't even go to the friggin' award thing, one, because I was here, but two, because I'm like, as if I'm going to win. And
But you, like, this is the funny part. You always say, Michelle gave me my first job. What does that say? And I'm like, it was a great choice. I've loved watching you from the sideline like that. Like, it's just, and I love, you know, it's been a big rewarding part of my career is helping others get through their careers. I think, and I think I've been good for that. I think there's people that you and I know, and the most rewarding thing for me has always been when staff say thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for like supporting us in that, or thank you. Like that's, you know, it's no different to a child. As soon as they acknowledge, you don't need lots of money for that. You just, everyone loves a little bit of acknowledgement in their
Yeah.
life.
So I was like genuinely shocked. I'm like,
yeah.
it's just a book by me. I don't know anything. I just put some words down.
And I'm not the biggest self-believer
Yeah.
either. But I think that when you have that self-belief, that's the best, you know, the power and the uplift and everything that you get from that will take you to the next level and take you to the next thing.
I just think I don't want to be so self-belief that it's this spewing arrogance.
No. It's just a self-belief that,
like an inner
that
confidence.
puts you in a confidence position, that you're not doubting yourself and that you're not questioning, should you be at the table?
Yeah.
Should you be acknowledged?
I mean,
for
okay,
that?
so on that, particularly traditional man's world job, that would just be coming thick and fast. Like in the days where there wasn't lots of women at conferences, like
You just have to, you got to be aware of people who are trying to shrink you.
yeah,
And it's what you're feeling in your environment. What I would like to say for anyone listening that's navigating their career is that if you feel that you are made to shrink where you are, it's not the right environment for you, because the right people will ask you to fly. Like they want you to bloom. And that's that part of even being a woman in this environment, in financial advice or in industries where it's not many of us, is the really right environment can actually help you
And
get
that's
there.
so true. Like Glen, I've been in a company where I'm 3,000 odd kilometres away from the rest of my team, right? But every time that I step back into the office, it feels like I was only just there, and people are like, "Oh, Michelle, you're here," and everyone gives you a hug. And the team that we have is a pretty special team in that regard. Yeah.
Well, we might wrap it up. It's been a fast 42 minutes. So tell us broad strokes. You both work in the business, The Wealth Designers. Who are they? What do you guys do? Do you have particular types of clients that you work with? Do you only want retirees? Do you only want accumulators? Do you only want complex aged care?
We have a broad range of advisors with skill sets. So we say that we actually help clients on all journeys. But what's important is that a client actually wants to work holistically with us, because that's the kind of advice firm that we have.
Right.
It's very much about walking you through to all aspects of your position. So if someone is wanting to scope things out and be very specific, or want us to be order takers, that's probably not the relationship we want. We want
You want all in.
We want all in, please.
And we want to add value.
Add value, correct.
So if we can't add value, we'll be really honest about that, and we'll try and steer you in a direction to find what you want.
Yeah.
And we're not the fit for everybody, and we'll admit that. But we deal with.
But you're not going to take on a client just to get the fee and
No.
like
No,
it's
it doesn't
if it's
work.
not a right fit. Well, was a
We know.
non-starter.
No.
Yeah.
And Glenn, with the advisor numbers, advisors don't need to do that
No.
because there's too few of us. We
Yeah.
are very intentional about who we work with because it's a long-term relationship that
Yeah.
we're seeking.
Yeah.
And we really want to be there really in a meaningful manner.
Yeah.
Like I've got clients that I've had for years and, they value that. Like
Yes.
it really truly is a value piece. It's not a transaction. It's
Yeah.
but it's okay too that we might engage with someone for 2 or 3 years and then our journey together is kind of complete and then they
Yeah.
might come back again in another 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
when they've got some more complexity or they're at another significant event point and they're ready to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also are advocates. I heard from another advisor that she was presenting at an event, and one of my clients apparently told her that my financial advisor has blue hair, and she was very proud of that. Like not about anything we've done financially. So the bonus is that if you want, it's like our clients become our advocates. I think it's such that kind of journey
Yeah.
that we root for each other. I would like to say, yeah.
Yeah. Any parting words, anything that maybe I didn't ask that you thought throughout the conversation that you might want to throw into anyone listening?
An area I'm very passionate about, about Glen as well, is that if anyone listening here is a young person or it's a parent that has a child, is that please look at their superannuation investment option. I've done a lot of work around the area around investment choice, and that's what I'm studying for my PhD. And the difference of making an option from like a default balance option to something that's more growth, it's about $100,000 in today's money, and that's without extra contributions going in or big
Salary
raises in
increases,
salary.
yeah.
So it's $100,000 outcome for a very small amount of time, and I'm sure you've got lots of resources on your site around how to make the investment options right for you. But please have a chat with your young person in super.
Yeah.
And I think the thing I would say is there is value in advice. Like we know there's lots of Australians who don't get advice, and the value that can be added through either a sense of certainty or even just through those processes of strategy like transition to retirement or looking at, how do we structure the assets to make the most of Centrelink benefits that can really just lift people's lives, I think is, nothing to be neglected.
Yeah. 100%. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's been fun.
Thanks, Glenn.
And look, we haven't lost anyone yet on this show. And it's Dawn's second time, Michelle. I'm sure you will be back.
I will.
But
It's been an honour.
you can check out, their advisor profiles at twdadvice.com.au.
Yeah. Just Google us. We come up. We're pretty
I
good on
do
the
have
site.
a funny story. I
Yeah.
did have a client who was using AI to tell them all about me. They use it through their calendar and to go, who am I meeting today, and give them a little bio. And he goes, so how's your new kitchen? And because if you read my, because our profiles, they're not about stuffy business suits and
Yeah, it's like, who's the person?
who's the person, and,
Yeah.
and it's about how do we want to live well.
Yeah.
So how does that means different things to Dawn and it means different things to me. But then it was so funny how AI had taken it and just made it that I'd done it versus all these things that I was looking forward to doing. And I said, and I thought, how does he know that I'm doing my kitchen? And I said, oh no, I haven't done it yet, but I'm just about to do it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, kids. AI is good until it isn't.
Yeah, you've
Don't-
always got to check it.
That's right. My name's Glen James. You've been listening to Money, Money, Money. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for hanging around to the very end. That's wild. But if you are listening as well, thank you so much for your support this year throughout the podcast. And hopefully it was maybe a lighter, funner, different episode for the end of the year. But we appreciate you listening. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
ladies.
Any advice is general financial advice only, which does not take into account your objectives, financial situation, or needs. Because of that, you should consider if the advice is appropriate to you and your needs before acting on the information. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the Product Disclosure Statement, PDS, and Target Market Determination, TMD, and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored to your needs. Simo Interactive Pty Ltd, the publisher of this podcast, and Glen James are authorised representatives of Money Sherpa Pty Ltd, which holds financial services license 451289. Opinions or comments from any guests on the podcast are theirs and not those of the host or the publisher or their respective license holders.